This fight, it's not restricted to Texas, to the Lone Star State. California is next on the front lines, where Democrats are expected to pass a bill tomorrow to put their newly proposed map on the ballot to offset those GOP gains that are expected in Texas and give Democrats back 5 seats in Congress. Tonight, a Democratic heavyweight is backing that strategy. Former President Barack Obama posting this, saying, over the long term, we shouldn't have political gerrymandering in America. Just a fair fight between Republicans and Democrats based on who's got better ideas. But since Texas is taking direction from a partisan White House and gerrymandering in the middle of a decade to try and maintain the House despite their unpopular policies, I have tremendous respect for how Governor Newsom has approached this. He's put forward a smart, measured approach in California designed to address a very particular problem at a very particular moment in time. My next source is California Republican State Senator Suzette Martinez Valladares. And thank you so much for being with us. I do want to note you were part of this emergency petition that was filed with the California Supreme Court, where you're arguing that it's unconstitutional, the process here, how Democrats are moving their proposed new map that Governor Newsom hopes could give Democrats these 5 House seats to nullify the 5 Republicans are expecting in Texas. Have you heard anything from the court? Because you'd requested immediate relief no later than today.
So, Brianna, first of all, thank you so much for having me on tonight, for allowing me to share exactly what is going on here in California. Today, or over the past 2 weeks, we've seen and we've saw that we have a governor, we have political insiders, we have legislators who are breaking California's constitution by drawing congressional maps behind closed doors with no transparency. And we have myself, Republicans, Democrats, independents that are coming together to fight back to uphold California's constitution. Now, yes, we filed one of what I believe is going to be the first of many lawsuits asking the court to simply tell the California legislature, follow the law, follow the Constitution. Now, unfortunately, I just received word that the Supreme Court will not be taking up this lawsuit. But again, this is going to be the first of many, because we are seeing and hearing that legislators have unconstitutionally and illegally been a part of drawing these maps.
Okay, that's news. So they are not going to take up this case, this emergency petition that you and other Republicans have filed. The new maps that Democrats in your state want to pass include a trigger that they would only go into effect if Texas's redistricted maps go into effect. We're seeing that proceed tonight in Texas, obviously. Do you hold Texas Republicans at all responsible for what you're facing in your state?
Well, that actually, Governor Newsom said that this would only happen if Texas redrew their maps. However, that's not what the bill language they presented said. It says if any state redraws their maps, that this would go into an effect. Now, it's my understanding, I'm not a Texas voter, I'm not a Texas legislator, but they have a court order to redraw those maps. Now, what we're frustrated with here is that we should never overturn democracy and California's constitution because of what other states are doing, which is exactly what we're going to continue to fight against here in California.
Okay, but that's the effect of this. There is a trigger. This isn't happening in a vacuum. There's a contingency. And in this case, it is Texas. So let's just be clear. If it says other states, well, it's Texas. So do you have any criticism for members of your own party in Texas?
So again, in 2008 and 2010, California voters spoke. Republicans, Democrats, independents said, we are going to take map drawing, congressional map drawing, district map drawing out of the hands of politicians, and we're going to give it to the people. We have an independent redistricting commission that has a long, fair, and transparent process. So for us, we want to uphold that because it's the most fair process for drawing lines. It doesn't allow politicians to do this in back rooms.
So then what do you think about what they're doing in Texas?
Take this up. So what I think is, again, here, I encourage every state to take California's lead in adopting their own independent redistricting commission. We took that to the voters. I think we're going to defeat this. Unfortunately, we had this lawsuit that we lost today. We're going to continue to fight this here in the legislature, at the ballot box, and continue to tell other states, do the right thing, uphold democracy, implement your own independent redistricting commissions.
If you can't criticize Republicans in Texas for their approach, which is so different from the one that you're advocating for in California, I mean, how should voters see California Republicans as opposed to a move like this only when it doesn't favor them?
Listen, I was elected, and the 120 legislators that were elected this past November in California to uphold the California Constitution. This isn't a Republican issue. This isn't a Democrat issue. This is an issue of political elitists in California silencing and taking the power away from California voters. What we're doing in California, this legislation, this governor isn't taking away the power of voters in Texas. They're taking away the power of voters in California. We have a right, we have an obligation here in California as California legislators to uphold the California Constitution, to uphold the will of our voters here in California. And I will never back down from that. And I will speak up for Republicans, Democrats, whoever it is, to make sure that they are empowered voters here in California.
Do you see how this has become a national issue, though?
Absolutely. And that's why I come back to, if the rest of the nation should follow California's gold standard. That is, we have a fair, a transparent redistricting model that allows for public comment, that our Constitution says that we should keep cities together, we should keep counties together. And since we passed this fair process, California has seen the immense growth of phenomenal leadership. For the first time in California's history, because of our fair and transparent redistricting process, we have a majority woman-led Senate. We have elected more Latinos, more Hispanics, more Asians, more Black legislators over the past few years because of the work of this commission that was passed by California voters. I'm not letting that be thrown away because of politics as usual. I'm here to defend California's Constitution.
So it has become evident that a few California Republican lawmakers are acceptable collateral damage for President Trump if he's able to secure more Republican gains overall in states considering redistricting. What would you say to the president?
Listen, my message is loud and clear. I am here to protect the voters of California. We want fairness. We want transparency.
But what would you say to the president? Because you're not. What would you say to the president? Because this isn't happening in a vacuum, and this very much has to do with his request for getting more safe seats in Congress. What would you say to the president?
Well, I'm assuming if the president listens to this show, he's going to know loud and clear how I feel about transparency and fairness in our elections process, specifically when it comes to redistricting.
State Senator Suzette Valladares, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. From the great state of California, I am admittedly biased.
Wow, did you guys see that exchange? The Republican guest comes on CNN thinking it's going to be business as usual, but then the anchor actually pushes back. And here's the part that stood out to me, when the anchor basically says, "So, are you telling me we can't criticize Republicans at all?" That hit hard. Now let's break this down. What I saw wasn't just a heated interview. It was a reflection of a bigger issue in our politics today: accountability. Too often, politicians want to dish out criticism but can't handle it when the spotlight is on their own side. And honestly, that's not how democracy works. If you're in power, you have to be open to tough questions. Here's my take. I think this moment showed that the media can still hold politicians accountable, but it also exposed how fragile some of these talking points really are. Because the second you strip away the slogans, it becomes clear that some arguments just don't stand up to real scrutiny. But let's be real. This isn't just about one Republican or one CNN anchor. It's about whether we're okay with leaders being above criticism, or if we expect them to answer tough questions. no matter who they are. What do you think? Was the CNN anchor being fair? Or do you think this was an example of media bias? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I really want to hear where you stand. And if you're into these kinds of breakdowns, don't forget to hit like, share with a friend, and subscribe so we can keep the conversation going.